everyone, and welcome to the North American Challenger Series playoffs, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm David Freak Turley, alongside me is Aiden Zyrene Moon. How's it going?
It's going pretty well, Freak. I'm ready for the playoffs to begin and see who makes it out.
It's going to be a bunch of fun. You know, it's been a while since we've had a couple thousand people watch us make awkward jokes back and forth.
It has been a while.
I'm looking forward to more of that happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be good. Of course, we're kicking out the 2014 summer playoffs with back-to-back quarterfinals.
Zombie Gaming XDG.
Yeah, they rebranded. They were going to be fun watching all these players come out there. Now, this is the first round of the Challenger playoffs, and at the end of the playoffs, the top 3 squads will battle an LCS team for their spot at the Spring Promotion Tournament in September. Now, here's the roadmap our challengers will have to navigate in order to reach that opportunity.
The winners of today's 2 matches will advance to the semifinals, where the top seeds, Team Coast and Curse Academy, eagerly await them. That round takes place tomorrow.
And a loss in the quarterfinal round means elimination from the Challenger playoffs. The stakes could not be higher today. And of course, you can always follow all the Challenger playoff action simply by going to lolesports.com.
There you'll find the playoff bracket, scores, VODs of previous matches, and more under the Leagues and Tournaments tab near the top of the page.
All right, so the first quarterfinal matchup of the day is about to get started. 3rd seed Team LawPro against 6th seed DNL Esports.
Yeah, Team LawPro is a group of proven competitors. They took 2nd in Summer Series 1 and have the 3rd overall seed in the large part thanks to former Team Dignitas support Patoy, who statistically is the best support to ever play in the NALCS. His career, 6.19 KDA, is higher than Aframu, Lemonation, Moore, and Xpecial. And that's pretty good company to have on that team.
He's a pretty darn good player. We're going to see what he can set up here for today, because LawPro is hoping that Patoy can bring some veteran stability to the bot lane. They've been actually swapping players in and out throughout the entire sort of summer split so far. They've also got a brand new AD carry in Signature. So Zig previously played on Team Dynamic way back in the day with Zion Spartan and Nintendude X, and was a sub for Curse and Dignitas throughout the LCS. But he's been really out of the competitive scene for a while, for a few years actually. Today, we're going to see how he performs now.
Yeah, he's been out for about 2 years now doing school and all that other stuff. So on the other side of the rift, though, it's DNL Esports, who hasn't played that many games in the Challenger Series this summer. DNL took the 6th place seed behind an absolutely massive tiebreaker performance by AD carry Stixay, who went 14-2-8 with an 11 KDA. And Signature may have his return spoiled if Stixay can play like that again. And I talked to both these teams, and DNL feels that their little edge here is that Stixay and Support Daddy have been together longer than Patoy and Signature.
Yeah, and honestly, bot lane is going to be pretty important for both these teams, so we'll see if that matchup means very much here. But the matchup we really want to keep your eyes on is actually the mid lane matchup here. DNL's Nabi Poohbear against LawPro's Lod.
Yeah, LawPro's Lod, he has an amazing performance all throughout, 4.79 KDA, really high kill participation, but Nabi Poohbear, on the other hand, he has 84% kill participation for his team, and DNL really looks to make plays off of him and his late game shot calling. But the thing with shot calling, we always talk about it here, is that if that lane gets behind, it's much harder to shot call from. Because if Lod, with his skill, just shuts down Nabi early, it's going to be a big problem. And the fact that DNL, we didn't touch on this, they have a new jungler in Seika. He actually, on the live servers, his name is Cat God. He's about number 61 on the ladder in Challenger. And his synergy with Nabi is going to be very important if they want to take on Lod in the mid lane. Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that mid lane matchup goes, just because they even share very similar champion pools. I think Syndra's like the #1 champion to look for between these two, because not only is she kind of like the premier lane bully, but it just lets you run around and be a playmaker and say, follow up, I got these stuns.
Yeah, it's a contested pick. We'll see if it's banned away or if it's picked away. But here's the thing, too. Last time we saw Lod, he went 0-3-0 on Syndra versus Team 8. His biggest performance was actually on Ziggs, where he had a 10-4-9 performance.
Well, we'll see then.
And that was a loss, too, that he had a 10-4-9.
That's true. They actually had a pretty rough series against Teammate earlier on in this in the Challenger bracket. We're going to see what these guys can do. Picks and bans coming through. Zillion dropped away from LawPro. Alistair dropped off of Support Daddy and Anda here. And gotta see as we keep moving forward. One of the fun things, of course, we haven't seen these teams play this patch yet. This is 4.14 now. We have seen the Chinese playoffs of the LPL on 4.14, so you guys might have seen some of those games, but these are the first Western games in this patch. So.
I think Zillion was 100% pick banned last night in the LPL. So also Zillion is a flex pick here between Lod and Patoy. So if they pick it up early, they can still either throw it on the support and say, all right, we'll counter you mid lane, or they'll throw it in the mid lane after they see what DNL brings them in. So little bit of a good move there by DNL to take away that extra X factor that could throw them off in Champ Select.
I definitely agree. I think it's a really good choice to get rid of that one. Looks like the Rye's going to drop out as well. And Nidalee Not going to be out for Hanser, but we've seen his Dr. Mundo be amazing. And now we're going to see what we go for. Looks like the big three top lane bans, Maokai, Nidalee, and Alistar all went away. And Nunu right away picked up for Heaven Time.
Yeah, I was talking with you about this because all these junglers are kind of falling by the wayside, at least not as popular. Evelynn is only very popular in more challenger matches when people aren't as vision-oriented or as team-coordinated. So right now, top junglers are things like Lee Sin, Nocturne's being played a lot, Jarvan, Kha'Zix, and then Nunu's like right behind that for control.
Yeah, and it's going to be a control game for Team LawPro then. If they can get themselves out of the landing phase nice and safe, and they're going to be in a pretty good spot. We'll see what the DNL Esports goes for themselves. Maybe I'm wrong on the Syndra being contested because we're not seeing her just yet, but I still feel like that's the comfort pick for both these guys.
Yeah, the thing is, do you want to pick up the Syndra? Do you want to pick up the Kassadin? Do you want to pick up the Orianna?
It's 414 Kassadin.
I think that DNL will most likely wait until they go to last pick to pick their mid laner here.
Yeah, we're going to see if that ends up being the case. Looks like Nami with the hover right here. I actually like her against Nunu because it's very easy to disengage his like really weak attempts at walking at you. And it's instead DNL setting up for the best bot lane they can go for here. The only... Yeah, I mean, I guess there are two kind of support bans in this one, but Kog Nami, one of my favorite bot lanes here.
Yeah, and the thing is that Morgana's such a prevalent bot laner right now. She did take a hit to her ultimate damage and to her black shield, but it really doesn't put her down at all. The Dark Binding is still as powerful as it was before, and against Nami, Nami still kind of counters Morgan lane. So having that combined with the Kog'Maw really takes care of his early game.
True. Honestly, yeah, it's just a wonderful lane. It works in all of these cases. Kog'Maw, one of the best mid-game AD carries as well, so you have this like really great level 9 power spike with Trinity Force that should let DNL have a pretty good mid-game here as well as late-game scaling. Corki does have the chance to lane bully him here. I think that will be the pick for signature. Back to remember him playing 2 years ago at the Season 2 Regionals for North America was when I last remember casting him. I remember him really good at being good at the champions like Corki here, so... Corki Thresh going to try to battle that 2v2.
And he's been a really big Jace player, too. His most played is Jace currently. I think he plays AD carry Jace every now and then. Be excited if he whips that one out just because. But these are very serious games. If you lose here, you don't fall into a 3rd, 4th place match. You fall completely out of the tournament and out of your chances of making to the LCS.
Right, exactly. I mean, the thing is, though, we've seen teams, just to get on that topic real quick, we've seen teams run crazy stuff. One of my favorites is Dragonborns back in spring 2013 with the Soraka Nidalee bot lane. They won games with that one, and they were an 8th place team, so sometimes that crazy stuff does work out, and it's just up to you to figure out what's going to be there. DNL now to make the next few choices. We've seen both bot lanes and a Nunu, so really neither team has shown their strategies yet. Like, you don't like tailor your team necessarily around the fact that, well, we see a Kog'Maw and a Corki now. Like, that's in a lot of cases a wash.
Yeah, the only thing you can really like kind of infer from this is that what they want to do bottom is push them out early and possibly invade the jungle with Nunu. But that's kind of Nunu's MO, and you'll see that coming in for DNL Esports. But here on DNL Esports side, they took the Kog'Maw for the scaling. They took the Nami to take care of some of his early game and then late game disengage.
Yeah.
And now they're saving their last pick as their mid laner, which I thought they would do because I talked about how skilled Laud is. Up against Nubby, who is the playmaker of the team and the shot caller, you want him on the most comfortable champion he can be on in a lane matchup. Because if you get him a losing matchup because you pick something early, there's so much more pressure on that player.
That's a good point. So they are going to set up for a matchup here in the mid lane. Good call on this one. And DNL have now shown their hand going for a late game strategy here. Dr. Mundo in the top lane, Kha'Zix in the jungle. And it's going to be all about them getting out of the laning phase and having a really damn good 35-minute team fight.
Yeah, the Kha'Zix jungle is something we've been seeing more and more of. He fell off for a bit when the evolutions were kind of swapped around, but now he's back when people realize W max is really, really strong. And then people will evolve the E if they have really good lanes they can gank for, or they evolve the W if they're going for the skirmishes.
Well, we'll see which one we have for in this one. Right now, there's mediocre ganks available. Nami lanes can be alright, but against Corki Thresh, I feel like maybe not so much the case. Yasuo blind pick for the mid lane here of Laud and Shyvana top to fight Mundo. Now, 6 months ago, this was a very common top lane matchup. Basically, try to bully out early with Shiv, maybe get a Ruin King, and then go for there.
Yeah, we have not seen a Shyvana in a good while.
Yeah.
Gragas came out, Lulu, Kayle, then it was Maokai, Alistar, and now we're kind of going back to those roots.
It's true. Ironically, with Maokai being banned, we're going back to the roots. But you know what? That's fine. Fizz going to make his maybe appearance here in the mid lane. And we've seen troll picks before. Stixxay hovered Poppy for most of the timer, and that wasn't actually picked up there. I do like Fizz against Yasuo, though. No, Kassadin does come through. This is 414 Kassadin, so 20-second Rift Walk timer for the mana cost to go back down.
Also the damage, too. So if he can get more Ws. The thing is though that a couple patches ago we nerfed the timer, or I guess the cooldown of his W.
Right.
So the fact that these two coincide with each other, I don't get as much mana back, but then I use more mana, or at least have that consumption timer on for longer, is really kind of a big kick to him.
So we'll see his first 414 cast, and I remember seeing, though I might have missed it from the Chinese playoffs, and nubbypoobear is going to play that champion. Again, a lot of late game, and I don't necessarily know what's going to keep some of these lanes afloat, though, because every single lane is dominant from LawPro.
Yeah, LawPro have a lot of bullying here. You can go into the jungle with Heaven Time, you can create havoc. Yasuo is really good early. One item is extremely strong with Static Shiv. Corki, very big bully. Then Shyvana over Mundo will overpower him very early on.
Right.
And then when you hit 6, it kind of goes even. Then they both just kind of bully each other. But there's a ton of scaling here for Denial. So it's really on LawPro to make those early game moves and take advantage of their comp. Because if they don't, they're just going to get outscaled. But here's the thing. Seika on Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Kha'Zix is really good throughout all stages of the game as a jungler right now. So if he can make very early game plays and then start snowballing even one of those lanes, it could spell disaster for LawPro.
That's true. I think the jungle matchup is kind of the one I want to watch the most for who makes the plays. Again, I expect the lanes to sort of passively just get better and better for the blue side. But yeah, you talk about playmaking being available. And also, I find it hard to kind of, I don't know what the right word for it is here. Basically, new jungles I think are very interesting. And they're very different in the way they play around the game because they don't have the best gank pressure. But you put them in a lane and good things happen regardless. And so I want to know what exactly Heaven Time can do.
Well, here's the thing. I talked about all of Denial have scaling lanes, and then there's the Nunu on the other side. The person who's going to upset these scaling lanes is going to be the Kha'Zix, Seika. If Heaven Time just goes into the jungle and keeps Seika down, keeps tabs on him, steals a buff from him, it's going to completely upset those early game and basically make it so that Kha'Zix has no lane pressure. If Nunu's chasing Kha'Zix around the jungle, what's he doing? He's not ganking the lanes. And all these lanes are going to win naturally by LawPro, given something doesn't happen early.
Well, it's going to be the case then. If Heaven Time can keep tabs, everyone goes ahead and puts some aggressive trinkets down, goes through the mid lane.
Yeah, he has his own ward too, so he's looking for an early ward to place on somebody's buff.
We'll see what we got here. Denial looking to maybe put a lane swap together here. Anda going all the way down, putting an aggressive trinket right by this turret. Boop. There it goes.
30 seconds until
Got seen coming down, and they do ping it. So this is basically the obvious tell that these guys are looking for a lane swap, but Denial recall back and hoping to mind game this one.
Yeah, but LawPro are inside of their blue buff right now.
Yeah.
This could be really bad for Denial unless
they would
they
not
play
have
it
seen
right.
Nami, right?
No, they would not have seen Nami just yet.
I don't think Trinkets can see into that brush. I feel like Stixay and Support Daddy can make it to the bot lane without getting seen, but I think their mind game's not going to work here. They're trying to basically like counter swap, but they're going to get a 2-on-2, which they don't want.
Yeah, they do see each other. They've shown themselves a little later, so that making a lane swap now would just take too many resources to pull off. So they're going to go straight at each other, and that is actually beneficial for LawPro because they have that lane that's going to win a little bit earlier if you land a hook. Otherwise, you're just going to get poked down.
But look at this, though. This is actually a nice... it ultimately works out the same in both cases here, but both teams got aggressive buff starts, despite the fact that they could have been fought against, kind of because of these sort of fake lane swap movements that LawPro wasn't even trying to look at this left-hand side jungle, but of course, same thing for LawPro. They just went all the way over to the blue buff, and no one's going to stop them. So blue buff starts, pretty safe openings, and we're going to have a teleport advantage briefly for Anda as Hanser is forced to TP into his own lane.
Yeah, he's stuck around and helped that leash really, really, really well. And now we're going to see they're just going to kind of swap the buffs over, take each other's reds. This bot lane, though, these lanes are going to be very aggressive from LawPro very early on to try and just upset and tilt them in their favor because they have to push this advantage because there's no way they're going to outscale. The only saving grace for them in the late game is Shyvana or Thresh setting up Lod if he's in a really good spot and has kept nubbypoobear down.
The one thing that can help as well, if nubbypoobear is kept down as well, is that Stixay can be pushed around as well by a Shyvana. The Blood Bowl of Shyvana is going to make a kind of Cog's life really difficult, who honestly doesn't have a lot of peel for himself. Nami can try, so that's one thing also we can look at is maybe Hanser puts his game on his back, or Lod can do it himself, but we'll see. nubbypoobear so far holding pretty equal in the mid lane against Lod. Heaven Time grabs his red buff for himself, so jungler's so far unmolested.
Oh, Lod, though, a little far up.
Slow's going to miss, so is the Tornado, and nothing much happens. Nunu spotted by a trinket as he makes his way towards the right-hand side, and he's going to, as you talked about, wants to maybe screw with Seika in some way.
I mean, he stole his wolves, and he left the rest of it up. So he has to clear that out on Seika's side. Right now, it's just kind of going to be very unaggressive, but that's in Denial's favor.
Yeah. If nothing happens, it's okay, pretty much.
Yeah. And the funny thing about this matchup, too, is it is actually in Caston's favor. Like, you wouldn't think that it is, but it is. I played it a couple days ago, and I played it like weeks before that, too. But every time, Caston just bullies him around. Cooldown on Q is very, very low. You get into base contact with him, you're able to W for some extra damage. And the fact that Yasuo casts his E so often gives you a lot of force pulses.
Oh, no. But maybe we're going to take a little bit of damage there. Revo's going to land as well. Puts the slowdown and disengages pretty nicely. Only took damage from Nunu there. 2 Ice Blasts and a couple auto attacks.
Nope, Seika coming around the side here. Signature hit by Bubble.
Ooh, Exhaust goes on as well. There's the Valkyrie down. Flashes out as well. That is a summoner spell lost. Actually, 2 summoners, sorry, both of them flashing away for the Exhaust.
Yeah, and now Signature has no mana available. He has about 1 Phosphorus Bomb left. And Stixxay and Sport Daddy, pretty healthy.
Yeah, we are seeing Nami run out of mana a little bit now, and she's out of mana potions as well, so maybe Lowpro can wear through this with 1 more hook, but
yeah,
you're right.
Do it.
The 2v2 so far going okay, though, and Guz slowed down under his turret, and Heaven Time's going to be like, hey, are you really going to stay under your turret? Because Shyvana's going to dive you. This is risky.
Seika's coming too, but he's going to be late.
He's slow. Anda's now going to take a whole bunch of damage. Heaven Time pulled aggro. Now Hanser does the flash on in. Should be able to get the kill, but without flash, can he get away? Looks like he will escape the last turret shot. And what a good dive there. Anda should have run right.
And that's going to be the first blood to LOLPro, exactly what they want, to stay above this scaling team. They have to push this, but here comes Seika.
Oh, some good damage on Hanser, and no, he pulled turret aggro with the W, gets a kill back. That's kind of nice, but unassisted, and is behind.
Sometimes the burnout does that to you, and yeah, Anda, he is behind. He's down in CS, but man, that was just going to help him out a tiny bit, but he didn't even get an assist off the back of it.
So one thing that would help as well is the fact that Hanser does not have his TP back up yet for another 30 seconds or so. And so he's going to miss an entire wave under his turret as Anda pushes that down. Stixxay gets hooked up, Blade in as well. Good Phospho Bomb. Summoner heal used to stay alive. Damage not coming across to Signature. But now it's kind of a Summoner spell lead for Lowpro in the spot lane.
Denial have both of their flashes to the Ignite and Heal. So it's kind of...
I would personally prefer to have Ignite and Heal, because it does more in a fight. In a gank, I'd rather have Flash.
That's true. In terms of just damage, like Flash does no damage.
No.
You reposition yourself to maybe...
You can dodge a Phospho Bomb and a hook, I guess. But yeah, like in his 2-on-2, I would generally rather be in Lowpro's situation right now.
Okay.
But again, it just if I get ganked, then I'm screwed. But hey,
you just
play better.
You just get lanterned out. Just hope that Patoy's got your back.
That's the goal, right? Like that's why I was like, oh man, it's gonna be so hard to gank bot lane. Like Kha'Zix might not have much to do here down on that side because got Flay and Lanterns and Valkyrie.
And you can see the priority that they put on the Kog'Maw Nami first pick, because look at Stixxay. He's even in CS with the Corki at 6 minutes and 40 seconds in.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, Corkis will just start running away with the game here, try to lane bully you out. But the Nami with the sustain and the extra poke definitely helps him out here to go even.
Absolutely. I mean, I really love that bottom lane. The extra healing lets you sort of stay afloat in what are otherwise bad matchups like Corki versus Kog'Maw. And it's on, basically then it's on you to dodge the Patoy hooks. It's on you to be not hit by the skill shots of the enemy support, whether it's Braum, whether it's Thresh, whether it's even Morgana. And so far, honestly, so good for Denial.
The pink ward. Making sure that they don't get invaded.
That's one of my favorite pink wards, by the way.
Yeah, the Nunu. This is going to have nothing to do with this blue buff.
Nope.
Wow. So actually a big thing here. Seika, level 6, Heaven Time, level 4.
Oh, wow.
His Heaven Time went up top, and he ended up splitting experience, but then Seika came up, and he's like, I got a solo kill for myself. I'm able to roam around the map. Heaven Time's using a lot of his time to just clear some camps, but also put wards down, so he doesn't have as much pressure on the map as Seika does at the moment, because Seika's been kind of playing it safe.
He has been, and honestly, that's reasonably okay. I mean, he got that one good counter gank in the top lane, and you mentioned the level disparity there. I mean, some of that is bought by the fact that Anda should be a little bit behind Hanser here. That one wave denied to the turret notwithstanding, I feel like that should still be a lead that Hanser is going to hold, and you can see he's still plus 10 CS because of it. So the leads are in different places, kind of.
Thing is that both junglers will hit 6 off of their second buff here. So Heaven Time will be in a good spot. Seika doesn't really have a good time window to push this advantage of having level 6 and evolved wings. So that it doesn't really mean all that much in the grand scheme of things. Because if he shows up to a lane against level 4 Nunu and he's 6, big disadvantage.
And there's going to be Evolved Wings, by the way, here for Seika. So it'll be all about looking for the fights.
And it is the W max.
Yep, it's the W max.
So good at clearing camps. And the extra bonus damage to minions, then multiplied by the intake of your Spirit of the Elder Lizard, you heal so much.
Well, oof. So far, Patoy has not been landing a lot of hooks right now. So Signature, Patoy, that bottom lane, same level so far. Good harass coming down from Cogs, 414 Cogs, so the R damage nerfed a little bit against champions.
And the Voidooz just looks even bubblier, and more disgusting.
So pretty and gross at the same time. It's great.
Heaventime walking by, but Seika's here. They're both have their ultimate, 6 to 7.
Box
Seika
comes
off on
down,
the wing.
support down, he gets hit by the hook, comes in as well, hits another box wall, and here comes the engage.
Heaventime needs to
Lantern
reposition.
comes out, Signature does not chase into that one though, a great absolute zero, and Rockets pick up 1 kill. Seika's got almost nowhere to go, trying to get away, flashes out, but Signature gets the double kill. Now will they chase? Heaventime does not want to keep going on that one. Looks like Stixay is going to get out safely, but 2 kills now for the Corki is pretty big. That could be Dragon.
The reposition of the AoE slow from Heaventime flashing using his ultimate was perfect, and they will go straight for a Dragon here. You kill the jungler, you kill the bot lane AD carry, pick it up for yourself, because Laud, he knew that was coming, he shoved the lane out.
Beautiful stuff, man. And Team Law Pro 4-man the Dragon, no contest.
Okay, the junglers actually pass each other, and they're well aware of each other's existences in this bot lane. Hook onto Support Daddy into the box wall. Slow on top of slow. Heaventime uses ult. He gets bubbled, but then the big one picks it up. And the biggest thing there is that Seika didn't do a lot of damage because he was too worried about the Nunu ult and the Absolute Zero. But here we go, a fight in the jungle, 3-on-2.
Also coming around, and on the chase as well. Nabi Pooh Bear does have plenty of mana if he wants to keep chasing. Laud not going to take some damage. Exhaust is on, and in comes everybody else as well. 3v3, great 3-man Yasuo ult, and that is 2 people picked up, and forced to flash away, and Law Pro have just found a lot of advantages.
The last breath was so good there. He waited on it. The early game damage, you don't really have that burst from these champions that Denial has just yet. And if somebody sticks by you, Kaz isn't going to get that extra burst. And the fact that he has W max doesn't make him that great in these little just pick people off situations. Monster starts off with a really good ultimate, but then they buy time. They kite backwards. They wait for Nunu to get to the fight, and then they re-engage it. He has his Steel Tempest 3.
Oh no.
3-stack there, and then he gets it off. But man, this bot lane, TP comes in too.
Stixay left an orphan to support Daddy, goes down, and now Anda forced to run away there. Patoy and Signature on the chase. This might not have been the TP exactly that Dr. Mundo wanted. He's going to go down. Zig now 4-0 in this game. Stixay not really able to fight back either. What a gigantic lead for Law Pro.
And we talked about this mid lane here a lot. 100 CS, he has 22 over Nabi Pooh Bear right now, and he's 0-0-2. Laud is just such a skilled player. Every time we see him, we're kind of like, he's the new saving grace of Law Pro. I mean, he's been on this team since he was swapped, even before that, because he was on 80 carry. And now, people just can't find somebody to fill that void for him. Signature might be the person. 4-0-0, ready to step up.
I mean, Law Pro have swapped their bot lane around so much this split, and this is the first sort of signs of life we've been seeing from these guys. I gotta say, even way back when, that first gank, that double kill we saw initially in the bot lane, was because Patoy hit 6 before Support Daddy.
Yeah.
They used that little window of a level lead and went for it. The box was a lot of the reason those kills came down. The hook as well was great. Patoy's been good for this team. And Zig so far following up great with kills, and it's a 5,500 gold lead. That's massive.
Yeah, and Hanser already has his Blade of the Ruined King even before 12 minutes into the game. So he's well off in Signature. Oh, they want to pressure the no mana Stixay.
The hook!
Oh!
Not quite a support, Danny. That was pretty close right there. But you're seeing how aggressive Law Pro are able to be. They know they're ahead in this lane, and life is just so difficult for Denial down here.
Yeah, they thought that their advantage was going to be this bottom lane being together for longer with Stixay and Support Daddy, but Signature and Patoy are showing that they have synergized over these little weeks that they've had to prepare. Oh.
People are going to be... I think he'll die to Heaventime. I think he'll be safe.
No, but here comes the support with the hook.
And Laud as well. They've got to be a little bit careful. Then out goes Seika. Hook's not quite going to hit. Good ulti to dodge that one. But it's ward control, a dead pink ward, and Law Pro now controlling this blue buff. Good on them to play so aggressively in the enemy jungle, knowing they've got that early game lead.
Hey, they're playing to their win conditions here, and it's great. Their early game across the board is better than Denial's. If you get ahead of them, 6k gold up 13 minutes in. It's a massive gold lead in terms of percentage and proportion in comparison to what Denial have, and they are doing exactly what they should do. Just force it, push it, take their jungle, take every advantage you can.
And they're staking this mid lane outer turret now down as well. There's actually one thing I sort of realized after commentating for a while, and I think also it's worth everyone else understanding as well, is when a team is more powerful early game, you're not just like going to generally just like have plus 20 CS at 3 minutes in. It's around the 8 to 10 minute mark, like when the buffs respawn, that you start taking real advantages. Because most people can like lane a bad matchup and survive, but it's when you show up to like steal a red buff, like that double kill we saw in the top lane a while ago.
Ooh,
that's when it really turns.
Flash.
Stixxay is not in a good spot right there. Lod getting a lot of damage down, and there's the knock-up, and there's the kill picked up. Now Seika is around, but the Lantern going to keep him safe, and now Support Daddy very close to dead. The Rocket, the ulti as well, but the counter engage from WPubear. Can they knock down Signature, or do they even want to? In comes Patoy to save the day. And looks like LawPro going to walk away completely free on this one. More kills picked up.
2-0 so far, but can they turn it? Oh my god!
The damage onto Seika. Down he goes. Nice dash back of the wall from Lod. Knockup does not quite land on WPubear, but the hook does not ult for it though. Flashing out from Nubby, but can the Flay make it happen? Yes, it can. WPubear one hit from dead, and now another kill picked up. 11-1 for LawPro.
That was a 4-for-0 in the overall. They get themselves a turret in the bot lane, and they are just continuing to push this. LawPro look fierce.
And Anda's got a force to regenerate under his turret. Every single lane just looks so incredibly rough for Denial.
We talked about the power spikes of LawPro being around those 12-minute marks. Having the static shiv on Yasuo, look at this, he completely misses that.
Yeah.
He still eats the Steel Tempest there, gets completely 1v1, level advantage, everything in their favor. And man, just the will to survive from Denial is just not enough against LawPro's early game. And the fact that they're able to come up with these advantages, they continue to fight. This entire time, Lod killing the turret, says, all right, let's rejoin this fight. Hits Stixxay once, twice, multiple crits, goes back over, uses the white and his sweeping to get back over, and then he saves his ultimate.
I think he was expecting the hook, and then with the Flay, he was like, guys, hit this.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a very small window, to be fair.
Very, very tiny window. Set it up for each other. And man, just 10k gold advantage 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I feel like the game is really crumbling for Denial right now. The fact that the not Stixxay, but WPubear and Seika actually chased down in that 2v3 or 2v4 is really evidence of how this game is sort of crumbling. There's no way that fight's going to work. There's no way it's a good choice, but they go in for it anyway. And they've got to learn a little bit better self-control and realize that sometimes you just got to give up your jungle and not take these fights where you are sort of overpowered on champion power.
Yeah, well, 10k gold behind is ridiculous. They're behind in champion power, item power. All these spikes are going to be so delayed for them. And the fact that they're a late game comp, they aren't going to have really any signs of life for a long time because they're going to be out-leveled on top of all of this.
And Seika walks into his own jungle, sees a tornado in the front of it, pops his ulti. Lod says, I see you over there.
It's red.
Dies to the red buff. Oh, man. I mean, at this point, it's like, if you see him, you know he's going to fall over. Q comes out, shield doesn't matter too much. Nice bubble, though. And the high fidelity void ooze, but there's WPubear, can land the hook, but ulti, of course, not up right now. Damage still comes through, a lot of pain coming out of WPubear. Heaventime just diving down very aggressively, and now comes Zig for the backup. 1-for-1 damage on the support, dead, and now looks like Tsunami not going to fall down. Lantern keeps Zig safe. Talking about the backlines on a Stixxay. Lod wants this one a little bit now, and the turret's in the way, but looks like that is a kill picked up, and more people keep falling. Hanser now in the backlines on top of that one. He's going to flash out as well. Turret's not going to be enough for that one. On top of that, and trying to support what he can, but looks like LawPro just refused to die, and they keep picking up kills.
Oh my god, this is 17 minutes in the game, and they're playing like there aren't even turrets around that area. LawPro is so far ahead right now. 12k, 17 minutes, huge level advantages. 5-0-3, 5-0-4. That's the carries here for LawPro. Those are their scores. This is such a out-of-hand game for Denial.
It really is. Look at that hook, though. That was so good.
Patoy moving back to support. He was on AD carry last time we saw him, and he didn't have that great of a showing because they tried to move him around.
Yep.
And then they had Heartbeat in, and then they brought Signature in. This guy coming out basically from semi-retirement because he went back to school.
Yeah.
But this guy, you said it, he made it to regionals in Season 2.
Yep.
He's a really good player.
Darn right he is. You're seeing it here.
The fact that he hasn't gotten rusty at all is a big testament to his skill.
And what I like as well is that LawPro, they're winning in enough metrics. Look at his inventories.
Yeah.
There was another pink ward in the inventory. Actually, Patoy bought one, and then Hanser put one down. But they're like, guys, we're winning. Everyone invest in wards. Let's control the map. Let's close this out.
They're taking it very seriously.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're taking it very, very seriously. Both these teams want it desperately. Look at this. Nubby caught a little bit out. He's going to get slowed.
Gets flayed, ults backwards. He's going to stay safe for now. Ward goes down, but you're seeing Laud able to take away the blue buff here. Should get that to Zig. Does so. Smart choice. And now we'll see where the push is going. Hanser still stays in the top lane. 4-1-1 on this Shyvana. Having a pretty good time with this one. You can see Anda not able to do much there. Finally breaks the Banshee's veil, but has to run away immediately afterwards.
And the fact that they were able to just keep this mid lane matchup in LoLPro's favor is really big. Because Laud, he was losing it at the start. Because that's typically how the matchup goes, and also armor when the new Kassadin is really easy to itemize. You can get Zhonya's, you can get Iceborne Gauntlet.
Sure.
It's perfectly fine. He hasn't completed an armor item because they kept him so far down. 0-3-1,
yeah.
119 CS, he's 60 CS down, 70 CS down at this point.
Yeah, life is really rough right now if you're the Kassadin. Running on this team, actually engaged comes to Hanser, doesn't quite land that though, so no last breath comes through, but all 6 turrets now down outside the base team. LoLPro have only given up 2 kills, and those have been on the back of team fights elsewhere, so it's not exactly that bad of a score line here.
The buff control has been fantastic from LoLPro all game. It's not even just the Nunu control. The whole team just got ahead and started investing in wards, and they are able to continue to push this advantage. Every time we see a team take an advantage, it's kind of like you have to ward the enemy jungle and continue to take their buffs, because you don't just power yourself up, you stop them from gaining power. And they do exactly that on LoLPro.
You mentioned the buff control. I just got told in my ears 10 buffs to 4 so far in this game. So of the 14 buffs, only 4 have been grabbed by Denial, and you can see that LoLPro kind of taking their name. They're denying all the buffs away. Now Baron going down before 20 minutes into the game. You can see great vision control. Look at all those little blue icons on the main map. All of those are wonderful little wards here that see that Denial are nowhere near trying to check this one. So Mordvin is going over. Make that now 11-4 in buffs. Actually, is that 5 buffs because it's Baron?
I don't know. I wonder if Dragon was inside of that too, because I mean, it's not a buff, but it's still a neutral objective. But you know why they're able to deny all of these? Well, because they're pro.
Yeah, exactly. I was informed that was just buffs, not dragons, so I think Baron counts as 5. 5 buffs were gained by killing. I am not wrong in the slightest. 15-4 in buffs now. Team LoLPro looking absolutely incredible, man. This is a team that, again, their 3rd seed coming into the playoffs. And we've actually seen, like even from the European tournament, the teams were not always necessarily as good as their seeds suggested. We saw guys that were low seed, but we had very high expectations of. Yeah, UOL, SK Prime being the 2 big ones for me. And LoLPro very much living up to their top 3 seed. They expect to make it to the promo tournament. I was actually talking with Liquid a little bit earlier today, and he said he was doing a lot more hands-on coaching. Liquid112, the Team Curse manager, if I wasn't specific there. He's like, yeah, I've been actually really hands-on with Team LoLPro. He's in the studio today to support them. He's like, the main team of Curse, they've got their own staff. They're fine. They're doing their own thing. But Steve's been pretty hands-on with Team LoLPro here, and they are looking very good.
Yeah, they're looking extremely good, and having that type of infrastructure is important. I know Denial has Frank Fang to be their coach, formerly of Frank Fang Gaming.
True.
Which made it pretty far previously.
Is then known as Wasabi Gaming, then known as XDG.
Kind of got rid of Frank Fang, so they couldn't keep his name in the name.
Which became Gaming.
Yep.
Team Gaming.
Team Gaming.
Team Gaming Esports, what a great team name. Exactly. Engage comes in. NubbyPoober got hit by the last breath, actually, and that is some damage coming through. Now it looks like everyone forced away by Heaventime and Hanser, forcing them back to their own Nexus while the inhibitor goes down. Team LoLPro still diving really, really hard in this game. There we go. Inhibitor going down. 20-minute inhibitor as well. Wards inside the base. I don't know how Denial can stay alive.
LoLPro has complete, utter disregard for turrets and the well-being of Denial.
Yep.
They just go straight in there, and they take what they want. They get that inhibitor. This gold advantage is bigger than any gold advantage we've seen in 20 minutes in an LCS game.
Oh my god. It's just massive. Like, Team LoLPro have been crushing the entire game long. Not much else to say. Denial went for a late game focused team. I was really surprised to see the Kassadin last picked. I think you actually spoke to it very properly, which is, hey, NubbyPoober, he's a shot caller. He's going to want a very strong lane.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you're right that, like, Kassadin's not bad against Yasuo, but...
No, he's actually quite good if you itemize him correctly, but the thing is he got focused.
Right, well, the problem is also, like, it's not like Kassadin does anything before level 11.
Exactly.
Like, anything meaningful, Like, maybe you bring teleport and you counter gank, but, like, he didn't bring teleport and counter gank, so...
He's not going to crush that lane.
Right.
That's the thing.
He's going to sit there and wait for a while. And I know that was their plan, is wait for late game, don't worry, it's going to be fine. And, I mean, to be fair, some of that worked out, but Heaventime seemed to outgank Sega.
Oh, yeah. Heaventime on a Nunu.
Yeah. He made more happen. It's a factual argument.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you have 10 out of the 15 kills, part of it you've been a part of, the kill participation for yourself is really big compared to a 1-4-0. Yep. on Seika's side. And that one kill he got was up top from Hauntzer taking turret aggro from a burn.
Right. And I mean, that was a good play by Seika. I mean, obviously he's a very good player, but yeah, Heaven Time has the highest kill participation in the game. He's done, honestly, quite well for himself. He's had great ward control. He's basically prevented anything from happening. Yeah, there we go.
More buffs.
Did they grab a red not long ago, though?
They probably did.
Okay. Still, somewhere in the teens. They can now drive a car with their buffs. In the US. I don't know what the ages is elsewhere, actually, but it's North American Challenger Series, so I get to make American. You know.
Including Baron?
I was told 14 to 4 including buffs, but that's Baron counting as 1. Which means it's actually 18 to 1, or 18 to 4 in buffs. You guys should keep track of us better, guys, in the background, giving us information. Bottom inhibitor gonna go down, though. Team LawPro looking pretty darn good here, 24 minutes in.
They just took another inhibitor, and they're just looking top right now. Signature caught a little bit out, but he's just so strong.
Oh man, WP, we're forced to run away. There's the Valkyrie in every single time. Zig taking a bit of damage from Stixay, though. Maybe this is the one hold that Denial can maybe keep their base alive with. They will kill the minion wave off.
It's just, it's ridiculous.
The end is so far away, though, from Denial. Like, it would require so many miracles. Here's the engage. Hauntzer goes in. There's last press. Stixay's gone. 1 for 0, and the dive is on. Hauntzer is tanky. He's got most of Aranduin's knock up onto Anda as well. This should be the top lane inhibitor on top of this one. Dropping rather rapidly. Blood Boil making these die really fast. Pooh Bear can't do much. Bubble's going to miss as well. Top lane and him going to fall. And now the Super Minions, as they continue to flood in, should mean the game for LawPro.
20,000 gold advantage, 25 minutes. This is just utterly ridiculous, Freak. I haven't seen anything quite like this in the Challenger Series just yet. I've seen teams get kind of rolled over and like 10k gold advantages, but 20k this early on is really unprecedented. The fact that LawPro has kill advantages, item advantages, level advantages up the wazoo across the board.
Oh yeah.
4 in the middle. Kasten is 4 levels down on Lod. The shot calling has to be utterly just crazy right now with just havoc.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could really do in this situation. You have to hope that LawPro throws again, and throws a third time.
And then you're on equal footing.
Yes.
And then you got to win from there. That's only to get equal here. So, for what it's worth, Denial got saved by the fact that LawPro got injured and had to recall back to base, so at least some golden XP is going to be gained by all these dead inhibs.
Well, what they did...
The push will be easy.
Yes. Exactly. They went back, they bought all these items, they're going for the throat, they're going for that final blow with double super minions in every lane.
There's a TP in from Hauntzer, loses the Banshee's Veil, but who cares? Middle inhibitor should die rather quickly, and the minions can keep flooding on in. Nice 3-man bubble, though. Can they find something? Actually, Lod very low. He's 1 hit from dead. He gets exhausted, and then is 1 kill picked up. Is this maybe the comeback? Signature. Valkyrie didn't force to run away. Cassidy now dying. 4v4, both mid laners gone, but here are the super minions. That should be enough. I don't think Denial can kill the minion waves in time as the turrets start going down. 1 is gone. Wave coming from the top as well. This could be 2 turrets in very rapid succession. They force Patoy back. Tidal comes across, stops Hauntzer, but now the Nexus is available, and there's just not enough resources to stop the push of LawPro. Stixay is trying. Seika is trying as well. Patoy goes down, but there's still minions inside the base. Signature wants to close this game out. He's going to find Stixay. It's actually Nunu who picks up the double kill, but that will be game 27 minutes in, 19 to 4.
I say this in full confidence. That is the biggest goal lead at 20 I think we have seen in the Challenger Series in North America.
Yeah.
Hands down, that was an utterly dominating performance by LawPro over Denial.
Yeah.
They showed they came here to play today.
They really did. These guys started out extremely strong. They came with the plan. The first pick, Nunu, was a surprise to me. Don't expect first pick Nunus very often here, you know, in the jungle, but it paid out, honestly. Heaven Time had an absolutely wonderful game, was in the right place at the right time a lot. Early Sightstone plus Golem Spirit had great ward coverage the whole game, and you know, honestly, it was a crushing game from start to finish. The lanes in isolation held pretty equal, but the ganks were on point, the roams into the jungle were on point, and every single fight that they took was good for LawPro.
Yeah, it was kind of like we all just hit one item spikes together, and then LawPro did more with it. They got the gank bottom, took Dragon, Lod pushed out, joined him, took a blue, just continued to do that over and over again. And buff control, we talked about it. So many buffs fell into the hands. I think 3 times more fell into LawPro's hands over Denial, which is just immense jungle control.
Yeah. Honestly, that's all you can really say is this is what you bring Nunu for. And this is, again, the point I wanted to flesh out is when you have a team that is stronger early game, it's not just because you're going to get this 20 CS lead by 8 minutes. It's when those buffs respawn, you do something with them. You fight for the objectives that are on the map, not just Dragon, but it's every red and every blue. Or it's when you get your ultimates, you force a battle under their turret or in the lane. And that is what LawPro did. They used their early game power in the right places to start fights. You saw Hanser try multiple times to set up Yasuo ultis in the jungle, only to have Lod set himself up for what it's worth. But taking these fights outside the lane when you know you're stronger, exactly what they did, and it worked out.
Yeah. When laning phase ends, it doesn't mean go to another lane. It means go into the jungle. It should be the jungle phase after that.
Yeah.
Everybody's just getting neutral objectives, fighting over them, and they basically just flat out had better combat stats and better champions with those item spikes at the right time that they kept them down for 1 second, and they're like, we're just going to shove you all the way to the ground and actually dig a hole for you and bury you afterwards.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous how well LawPro played that in comparison to Denial.
Absolutely. So we know LawPro can play with advantages. They know exactly how to play the game. The one thing I will temper that with is that they seemed over-aggressive. I saw Zig Valkyrie in more than any other player like ever. To be fair, they were winning, and yes, he didn't really die for it very much, but actually, literally ever. He had 0 deaths that game. I looked afterwards. But that is something that you can maybe capitalize on. That, okay, LawPro can play an early game aggressive team and capitalize on a bunch of late game picks. But that is all we've necessarily seen, is that they can play that style really well so far. If the Nile have a better early game team, they can capitalize on that maybe over-aggression that we were seeing by the end of the game. And I also think the Nile should probably just play a different team comp, because they are clearly going to get snuffed out if they play this kind of comp again.
Yeah, and at the same time, it is all about the compositions. LawPro early game comp, early game strategy, which is definitely kind of like the rock to the scissors here. If you have all the options, you're like, I'm just going to crush you. It's done. It's over. Scissors kind of sits there, goes, please don't crush me. And then eventually he's like, I'm just a gigantic rock crushing scissor. I don't know if those even exist. They probably do somewhere.
No, you just got to pick paper next time around.
Boom.
Scissors became a really dull knife.
There you go.
It's just not very effective at killing rocks.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah. The hinges were broken off. The scissors was crappy. The handle was broken.
Sometimes rock gets really mad and rips through paper, though.
That's true. Well, you have to wet the paper, though, and then the rock goes right through. So if you get some synergy, you get some water in there.
Hashtag rock, paper, scissors mechanics.
Add water, and rock wins all the matchups. Guys, going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for Game 2 in this best of 3 between the Nile Esports and Team LawPro, the 2014 Challenger Series. We'll be right back. Lantern comes out. Signature does not chase into that one, though. A great absolute zero, and Rockets pick up 1 kill. Exhaust is on, and ultimate everybody else as well. 3v3, great 3-man Yasuo ult, and that is 2 people picked up, and of course to flash away. Lod getting a lot of damage down, and there's the knock-up, and there's the kill picked up. Now Seika is around, but the Lantern going to keep him safe, and now Support Daddy very close to dead. Nice 3-man bubble, though. Can they find something? Actually, Lod very low. He's 1 hit from dead. He gets exhausted, and that is 1 kill picked up. Signature wants to close this game out. He's going to find Stixay. It's actually Nunu who picks up the double kill, but that will be game